Welcome everyone. Welcome to an open heart conversation with Geshe Tenzin Zopa, Geshe-la. Geshe Tenzin Zopa, for all those who don't know, holds the honored Geshe doctorate degree from Seraje Monastic University, South India, having completed the 20-year monastic curriculum in just 17 years. He was ordained at the age of 9 by the late great Mahasiddha Geshe Lama Konchog, received novice ordination from Geshe Lunjuk Sopa Rinpoche, and full ordination from His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama. Under the direct tutelage of Kyabje Lama Zopa Rinpoche, the great Mahasiddha Geshe Lama Konchog, and the most eminent of gurus, including those from the great Seraje Monastic University, Geshe Tenzin Zopa possesses vast scriptural knowledge, extensive teaching experience, has successfully managed major projects, has completed many retreats, including a 6-month highest yoga tantra retreat with the late Geshe Lama Konchog, and is highly skilled in rituals, astrological observations, and religious dance. Geshe-la is our guest on an open heart conversation with CKSL. It's an honor, truly, Geshe-la. Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you very much, Aman. Thank you. Thank you for organizing this quite a special and something new to me. So I'm pretty excited. Yeah. So thank you very much for your effort. Yeah. So before we start, I think as a Dharma practitioner, I think whatever action that we do, including this conversation, making sure that it become a Dharma practice. Otherwise it's meaningless. So Dharma practice meaning is that something which is beneficial for the cause and condition for the happiness, temporary happiness, up to the ultimate happiness of numberless sentient beings, up to full enlightenment. So may whoever hear this conversation, may whoever see Aman and my picture, image, may whoever contemplate on the conversation that we go through, and including every single existence of our body, speech, and mind, in this conversation, be only cause for the peace and happiness of numberless sentient beings. May it be only cause of virtue, cause of inspiration to the virtuous path, and bring sense of peace and happiness. Yeah, so may it be so like that. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you. I'll just switch to speaker view. Geshe-la, so we have some questions from many centers, especially from FPMT Australia Center and CKSL Center as well. The first question, Geshe-la, if I may ask, is that many of us, we know you that our first encounter was with you from the documentary An Unknown Child. We saw you in that beautiful documentary. We saw your incredible life journey, especially of the early years, how you left everything to be with Lama Konchog, and we saw how you went into that incredible journey to find his reincarnation. Geshe-la, if I may ask, how do you look back at that time now? Must have been an incredible journey.
Oh yes, the journey towards making of this movie, Unmistaken Child documentary on reincarnation, and the journey to find the reincarnation of my late guru Geshe Lama Koncho, and also the transition that occurred in my life from almost inseparable being with Geshe Lama Koncho, and suddenly that he left this world physically, and to experience the void of no more his physical existence. Then after that, there's a lot of tasks as a as an attendant of Lama, as someone that who kind of manage or take care, Lama's things in existence. It's a lot of how to say, amazing, surprising, inspiring, stressful. A lot of things happened, and then of course, especially 4 or 5 years of the time that that I spent the searching of the reincarnation. So all those are one of the most impactful journey in my life to shape myself more serious about Buddhist path, more serious about my commitment to the practice and to the world, and it's very much when I reflect, I think every journey is an intensive Dharma teaching in very practical way and very straightforward. Not much of theory, but very much direct engagement of practices. It's an absolute intense training of my mind, and I think through that journey, I kind of know exactly what my journey is. I kind of realize exact my direction of life. Otherwise, even during when I was with Geshe Lama Koncho, is very much dependent on him in his way of thinking, his direction. Basically, my nature while I was serving Geshe-la is the only one word in everything. Yes, okay, that's it. There's no more explanation is required, no more further caution is required, no doubts, no hesitations, like do this, yes, in totality. Don't do this, yes, totality, So, but after this process, is everything, I really has to become my own master, which I should be. But then, of course, in very subtle way, all the time, all the experiences, my life with Geshe Lama Kuncho was actually training, progress towards that point. The only thing is that I realized that actually, I'm up to this stage and I can do it. So it is a very beneficial, very memorable, and very meaningful, and privilege, and truly privileged. And I feel extremely blessed, and I hope that this will kind of create so-called as a meritorious karma, that in every lifetime that I will always remain inseparable from this perfect, precious Guru.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. Geshe-la, the second question, which is kind of a follow-up from the first question, was that we saw your relationship with Geshe Lama Konchog. It was beautiful and just precious, to say the least. And we couldn't much see of your relationship with the reincarnation, Tenzin Phuntsog Rinpoche. Geshe-la, so in the reincarnation, is the relationship the same? Maybe do you feel the feelings are the same as it was with Geshe Lama Konchog, or so this is a different relationship and that was a different relationship? How do you see it?
From my side, I have a same relationship with Phuntsog Rinpoche, the reincarnation, and late Geshe Lama Koncho. There's no difference at all. My respect, my the treatment, the gesture that not only my heart, my devotion, my recognition of who he is, but also when I use my language, when I use my physical gesture, when I relate to Phunzo Rinpoche and Geshe Lama Kunjo is exactly the same. And I literally, I'm no doubt that, you know, my perception towards Phunzo Rinpoche, that in seeing him in Lama Kunjo, you know, I, of course, you see the small body, you know, the different size, in different age, but I see no separation at all. And from Rinpoche's side, you know, he display many aspects. He display the similar aspect of Geshe Lama Kunjo once a while, and sometimes he do this purposely when he realized that sometimes we carried away because of, you know, myself, I mean, ordinary and coated with, you know, ordinary perceptions, and sometimes we get distracted, and once a while, you know, Rinpoche manifests into exactly the Geshe Lama Kunjo's tone, Geshe Lama Kunjo's way of speaking, and the energy, most of all the energy, and really kind of wake you up. But then when he was with me, especially when he spent 3-4 years of full time with me, when he was around, you know, 7, you know, 8, 9. Outwardly, I have to kind of create myself that I know the real world better than you. You know, I'm older than your age. I have more experience in the reality world. So therefore, you know, certain things you have to listen to me, and you have to follow my decision. But then my heart never listened to what I said this way to him. And every night after he go to bed, you know, I usually make prostration to him, and I make my confession, if in case that my speech and my transformation become bit too much. Even though my motivation is correct, I still do purification practice by prostrating to him. But at the same time, because of the young child, I still want him to not to notice that. You know, I want him to behave in the normal world also. So that's why I disguise myself a bit stern, but then my heart, you know, still bow down to him all the time. So yes, something like that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for sharing that, Geshe-la. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Geshe-la, so the FPMT Australia wanted me to ask you this question, that Geshe-la, have you grown up in Kopan Monastery in Nepal? So
Yes.
so thank you. They said the second question is that, can you give us a little insight into the life of a monk? Like, what is your schedule? How strict or how fun or how disciplined it is as compared to ours, maybe?
Yeah. I entered in Kopan Monastery age of 9, so I stayed there for a few years until before I spend more time in Sarah. And monastic the schedules are very tight. Basically, during my time, the rest of the monk usually get up, I think by at least 5, and at least by 5:30. I can't remember exactly. It's quite early, around 5, a long time ago. So around 5:30, we need to get into the Gompa, the temple, and we have to start with our morning prayers, which will take about 1.5 hours. Then we have breakfast during the puja, about 5-10 minutes we take for breakfast in the puja. Then after that, immediately after the puja, we do karma yoga, cleaning your rooms and cleaning around the gomba. So during that time, ourselves, the little monks are the one who actually clean up all around the monastery, which is different from now. Now they have a lot of helpers. And then after that, by 8 o'clock, I think I better don't say the time because the time changes a little bit. Then after that, without break, immediately, they will be ringing the bell and we have to go for memorization class. And that will take another 1.5 hours to 2 hours. Then after that, start our language classes or philosophy classes. That will go up to lunchtime and about half an hour or 1 hour lunch break. Then after that, we have to do during our time. Maybe about we will have a short nap period. Maybe it depends. Maybe half an hour or 15 minutes or something like that. Then after that, language classes again. Then we will have a tea break. Then after that, memorization and philosophy classes. And that will go up to dinner time. And we have about half an hour to 1 hour break for dinner. Then after that, rememorization, homeworks will go up to, in the classroom, up to 10 o'clock night. Then after that, you go back to your room. Then the room teacher will start to retest you on the homeworks and memorizations, and usually will go up to 11 something, then go to bed. But in my personal case, beside this, I have a few extra responsibility to do, because when I first entered in the monastery, I was asked to stay where Lama Soparinpoche, Lama Yeshe, Lama Lhundup, Geshe Lama Kuncho, where they live. Of course, Lama Yeshe by then is already passed away, but Lama Lhundup and our ex-abbot, late ex-abbot, and Lama Kuncho is most of the time in Kopan, and my duty is to serve them, tea. So that job started almost a few months after I arrived in Kopan. So I need to clean their rooms as for me to practice purification. Then they will also put me into practice of doing water bowl offering in their room. So I need to do water bowl offering in Geshe Lama Kuncho's room. Then after that, I need to do water bowl offerings in Lama Lhundup's room. Then I have to do another responsibility to make water bowl offering and the protector black tea offering in Lama Yeshe's room. Then I need to go and offer water bowl offerings in Lama Soparinpoche's room. So these are my daily extra responsibility. Then whenever Lama Soparinpoche come back to Kopan, I will be always be active in the kitchen, serving him drinks. And when Rinpoche comes back, usually he will give some extra karma yoga, like more water bowl offerings. Then there will be Zambala water offerings. Then he has this small Zambala, about 108 or many in the plate. Then I need to make the practice, do the practice. So due to that, I had to wake up almost every day. I had to wake up around 3:30. Usually I must wake up by 3 o'clock to serve 1 cup of warm water to Geshe Lama Kuncho. So Geshe Lama Kuncho start his morning meditation by 3 o'clock in the morning. So when he wake up, immediately I have to make sure put a cup of water, and sometimes as a young boy, I feel not nice. to wake up so early, and I feel and most of the time he don't really drink the water, and I find out, since you don't drink, why you make me wake up so early, you know. But I think now I can understand, you know, the thickness of my negative karmas is heavier than maybe anyone else, and I need to do more purification. So I guess that could be the reason. And I had to do that every single day. Then after that, when I started to do the water bowl offering, and you know, so many rooms, as I explained, until I needed to go to puja, because I also, there's no excuse for me not to go to puja because of that job. Then after puja, I need to rush back and make prepare breakfast. At the age of 9, usually, sometimes we have a cook, and sometimes I need to go and get the breakfast from the main kitchen, and just need to put in the plate and offer to the lamas. Then before I go for memorization, of course, you know, everybody cleans, you know, outside. I need to join there. At the same time, I need to rush to clean my lama's rooms. Then you need to clear the breakfast table, you know, breakfast plates. And then, yeah, then in the during the daytime, I'm quite, I can join the rest of the activities like class, etc. But then at night, I have an extra job. At the evening, during the tea break, usually I don't really have tea break, because I need to take down all the water bowl offerings and clean up, and you know, get ready for tomorrow. And they are quite strict with that. And one good thing is, when Lama Soparinpoche comes back in his room, he wants the water bowl offering to be 24 hours there. So therefore, I feel very good. You know, you don't have to morning quickly take down and then you refilled. But when Lama Soparinpoche is not there, Lama Lundu will make sure that I take down the water bowl offering in Rinpoche's room too, and morning freshly offer, you know, a new one like that. So then at night, I volunteer. Geshe-la didn't really ask, but I volunteer to make bed for Geshe-la, which is already started from age of 9. So I make Geshe-la's bed comfortably all the time. And this is something that I feel very privileged when I think of it now. And my brothers, I had 2 little brother, after a few years later, joined me. Actually, 3 brothers joined me. And they witnessed what I did, and later they pick up this habit. And maybe karma. Now, whenever I go back, you know, even I feel shy, I feel difficult. You know, they will make bed for me. So maybe the karma ripened. So, you know, they were so happy to make bed for me. You know, especially in the winter when we return Kopanis during winter time. And wow, you know, when you come back, is the beds, you know, wow, nicely arranged. It's quite nice in the monastery some more. You know, not in the hotel. So anyway, then at night, yeah, before I can go to bed, usually they, you know, especially Lama Lundu will test you with the memorizations, and he will not give any excuses, say that you had to work so many extra and, you know, you can go and rest. Never. But that time I used to feel a bit upset. I said, these gurus are, you know, like no compassion, you know, no mercifulness for me, like that, you know. And I used to feel like, well, the rest of the other monks are so lucky, you know, they don't have to do anything of that. And I feel so like, why I have to be in this environment, you know, and every day, year after year. But now I feel is, wow, you know, this is the most privileged thing that ever happened. And especially on Saturday, we have holiday, and we have almost every Saturday, we have about 3 hours to watch TV or movie, and either the TV serial, usually we watch the Hindi movie serials or whatever. So at least it takes about 3 hours, isn't it? And I'm so fond of it. And it's like that. It's like the whole week you're waiting for that. and I will find every single way to make sure that I able to catch that 3 hours to go and watch movie with the rest of the monks in the TV room. And whenever I get in the TV room, the way the lamas call you is they will clap from the top of the monastery, and everyone knows that this is call for you. So the moment they hear tak tak like that, they say, Tenzopa, calling. So I just have to run. And whole throughout so many years, I never get chance to watch one complete movie. And I used to feel this is terrible. But then again, now think of it, wow, they're so kind that they did that to me, So I can say that when the gurus are being tough at the beginning, be patient. One day you will realize that actually that's the most blessing for you. Is the greatest privilege. So anyway, so I get chance to go to bed quite late, never before 11:30, something like that. Then morning 3 o'clock you need to wake up, my lives are like that. And when I was with the lamas there in Kopan. So after I moved to Serra, then yes, the time circle is, in fact, it's more intense because of the study. And also I had quite a tough first teacher that who also don't really sleep early. We had to stay in a small room, and he hardly lie down. But he always make what you call fall asleep while standing like this. But before he go to bed, I feel so uncomfortable to go to bed. So hardly have a nice sleep. Then morning you have to wake up very early in Serra. Very early. And Serra, nowadays, I don't know, but even before I left from Serra after Geshe, we have to, our morning pujas are quite earlier than what happened in Skopan. Something like that.
Wow. Thank you for sharing that, Geshe-la. Geshe-la, while you were living that strict lifestyle as compared to my lifestyle, which was just fun and cricket and movies and all of that, did you ever, I'm sorry to ask you this, but did you ever feel this sense of, I want to see the world outside the monastery, I want to see the movies, I want to do this, I want to do what they do in the movies? Did you ever want to do that, or you were like, no, this is my life, I just want to devote to this all my life?
For me, somehow from the very beginning, it's very clear that life is the best life for me, and I never ever arise any thoughts of that disrobing and going out of monastery. The reason for that, because becoming monk is my own decision, and I strive very hard for that. In fact, my father didn't allow me to become monk. I wanted to become monk. I had this mind since the age of maybe 5, 6 already, very clear. But because of myself being the first child and the son in the family, they want me to carry the father's the family lineage, and and also in my village, if you have 3 sons, then the middle one, usually dedicated to become sangha, and also the most favorable son, smart and lovable, most favorable son of the father or mother or the family, is privileged to become monk. So becoming monk is a huge privilege. Only you are the best, then you can become monk. So I was not favorable for my father, and also being the first son, I was totally rejected to become monk. I always used to feel, and by then already understood that in the human life, the life of the Sangha is the best life. Because in the family, I hardly see smile, laughing, and even my father talking to my mother. There's no sense of gentleness, softness. But then once a year that we have the Thara Puja event during the Losa, during New Year time at home, and they invite monks and nuns to do that puja. And these monks, when they they're always laughing and have a lot of conversations and feel always uplifted, looks very happy. Then also another reason is that the family being very, very, very poor, basically we hardly have chance to eat rice. So to get chance to eat rice is like is abundance and it's kind of big thing. And the rice we need to get from Kathmandu, and we during that time we need to walk mountain to Kathmandu about 15 days and walk up to the mountain about 15 days, and the rice has to carry on your back. And I used to my father used to bring me along to help him, pottering for 3 years. So age of maybe end of 6, 7, 8, and beginning age of 9. So 3 years I've been carrying the rice up and down. I mean, rice up, barley down. And throughout the journey, hardly get chance to eat rice. The thing is, we don't have money, so we're going to exchange from some herbs. My father go and collect some herbs, so or barley exchange, and exchange for rice and some sugar, and the salt and some chili. So the rice and the sugar is actually to offer to these monks when they come to do puja. So whole year, work hard to save the medicinal herbs and etc., and go and exchange and get the rice. And these sanghas just one day come to do puja, they get chance to eat the whole rice, and they get chance to drink sweet tea. And I thought that, oh, if you want to eat rice, you want to drink sweet tea, which I regard that's a very happy thing. And I think the only way when you become Sangha, I think you will get that chance. Otherwise, I don't think so. So that's also one of the reasons. And another reason is just want to be happy, And the third reason is there's also, I already met Geshe Lama Kunjo when he was in the cave, and I felt that whenever I'm with him and around him, I feel most secure. And I feel loved. I feel protected. And during this period of 3 years, Geshe-la was already moving somewhere else, and eventually moved to Kopan. And I find kind of yearning to follow him, and the way to be with him is to be monk. After being monk, I think that's the only way, I thought. So went through such a hard time. My father is, each time I asked, 100% reject. And also he never let me see Geshe Lama Kunjo again anymore. And there's a time came that I say that if you don't let me, I feel he's not dead, because they show me the aspect of he's already dead. And I said that I feel that he's not dead. And if you don't let me see him, I may do something big wrong. I feel like jumping from somewhere and finish it. I feel really miserable. And then he allowed me to see him. And the first thing when I see him, I say, please take me with you. And so I went through the hard life when I was in a normal day life. And when I first came to Kopan, I felt literally like kind of like a new dimension of the world, and later people start to talk, in the senior monks and during the teaching talk about pure land. And I really felt it's like a pure land. So I never felt hard time and feel that I need to leave the monastery. Never. I always enjoy. The only thing, the hard time is whenever I don't get chance to watch the Hindi movie once a week on Saturday, and I can understand. I forgive myself. I can understand because a little boy and all your friends, like full focus watching that movie after 6 days of hard work, study, and chores. And I can understand myself, So I won't regard that that is something needed to be concerned. Yeah. So yeah. So I never. And of course, I feel that I have done everything my very best while I was serving my guru, while I was in the monastery, following the discipline. While I was studying in Sarah, I tried my best. And up to today, is solely to serve, to fulfill Lama Soparinpoche, Lama Yishe, Geshe Lama Kuncho, Lama Lundup, and all my rest of the Guru's wishes, and ultimately to fulfill the wishes of His Holiness Dalai Lama in my very best way, which is nothing but very small, but I did wholeheartedly and in my best. And I'm very happy with that. And now I felt the only thing to conclude that is to when I pass away from this life, I able to pass away with wearing the saffron robe, with pure observation of the vow. I have no other ambitions at all. I just that. There's no kind of doing too many things and hoping to do this, be this, achieve that. I'm very happy what the pace that I'm going through, and the only thing is that yes, when I die, I'm able to die with the saffron robe. I think that's the only kind of foresee. Yeah, that's it. So very happy.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Geshe-la, the culture you just described of the middle child going to become a monk, and that's a very huge thing. Even though your father was strict, but there's respect for being a monk, as opposed to our culture in India as well, and everywhere in the world, where the culture is to go out, study, become rich, get married, get kids, get a good house. There's a very completely different culture of, that's the idea of happiness. Building a house for your family, for yourself, and getting kids, and having enough luxuries, enough money for food and for everything, and maybe becoming more and more rich, and maybe helping out the world in that process. Geshe-la, you've traveled the world so much, you've met so many people, and you see what is happening around you, not just COVID, but you see there's economic problems, there's health problems, there's climate problems, there's depression, there's anxiety, people are suffering so much. Geshe-la, where do you think we are going wrong? Is this dream of getting married and kids, is that a problem? What is the problem, Geshe-la? What are we doing wrong?
I think it's objectively, I think everything can be conducive, anything can be conducive, or everything can be obstacle, anything can be obstacle for the betterment of your life, or for the fulfillment of your meaning of your life. So I think which direction that you want to take your life, it very much depend on the way of thinking, the way of how you see, how you present from your heart, how you utilize, circumstances and situations and responsibilities. I think it's very much depend on how you define it. Objectively, I think there's no particular thing, like even getting married, or even pursuing, wealth, etc. Are objectively not is not wrong by its nature. It's not negative by its nature. And also becoming monk, also not necessarily, by from the object side, just naturally become virtue. In order to make the life of monk virtue and meaningful Dharma, is depend on the observation of the vow, observation of the practice. You wear the monk's robe, you even go to the receiving vow ceremony, but if you don't observe purely, you don't practice purely, you may commit more negative karma, And as a householder, of course, conventionally, less, time for spiritual practices, etc. But then, if your motivation, if your attitude is Dharma, let's say your married life, your job, everything is infused by altruistic motivation, compassionate motivation, even taking care of your children as take as a privilege to care for other sentient being with much love and compassion, then that also become pure Dharma. Is a great virtue. You see, so I think when I was little, I want to understand that. But after learning Dharma in depth, then I realized that Dharma or virtue is very much mental characteristic, mental quality. They very much depend on the attitude. It's not depend on the outer situation and the object side. You see, so let's say an example. My journey, towards becoming monk, was objected by my father, and my father was not happy. And in fact, he was very, very unhappy. And but and myself, so much anger towards him. And I thought that he is the greatest obstacle for my happiness. But then, you see, I give you one example that my head here got a huge bump, a huge hollow, because of carrying luggage as a young child for 3 years. And I heard that actually the weight is about 10 kilo, and non-stop morning 6 to evening 6, climbing mountain after mountain, 15 days up, 15 days down, not easy. And even at home, I go to collect cow dungs and woods, everything carry like that. So here is huge depend. So when I first become monk, I have to shave completely. So it's so obvious. It's like a water canal, in between like that. So my late master, Geshe Lama Koncho, every day without miss, if not few times, but at least once, he will touch his hand like this. He will just, like kind of feel through the curve. And he won't explain anything. He won't say anything except, is the kindest person in your life is your father. It took 3 years to heal my anger towards him. And after 3 years of our separation, he passed away. And also without my knowing, I know he passed away much later. And with the blessing of my guru's reminder every single day like that, and also the certain voidness of his passing, I really realized that he is in fact, is the kindest person in my life. And because of him, I able to become monk. Because of him, I able to stay as a monk up to today. Even today, I really feel that he is the main reason that my stability in the monk's life, my dedication in the Dharma. If I have given so much love, like my brother who become layperson, who has to do farming, who has to look after the cows, and his life is so challenging. That's supposed to be my duty, and I will happily accept if my father been so kind, so loving to me, like what he did to my brother. And my brother, even because he has so much love from father, he was asked to become monk so many times, he refused. You see, so suffering is in fact is very beneficial, especially in the spiritual practice. Now I realize when I learned after learning the Dharma, the suffering is the greatest teacher, the greatest thing that to make you to go through the right path. When you have the right tool of Dharma, the wisdom, so suffering really become the lead to the actual correct path. So that's why renunciation is the path. Where the renunciation comes towards samsara is reflecting on the suffering of samsara, faults and limitations of samsaric experience. So you see, so therefore, in the rest of the lay people's life, like brother yourself, I think whatever the responsibility that you have, whatever the family expectation you have, whether that become a conducive condition for the meaning of your life or not is depend on your motivation, your understanding, your reflection. You see, so so I think in Buddhist point of view, in Dharma practitioner point of view, meaningful life means life in the Dharma, life in the only virtue and Dharma. You see, so if you can able to transform your family life into a Dharma practice for the development of compassion, development of unconditional love, development of ethics, responsibilities, then you lead the rest of your family with so much compassion, so much service. I think that is the greatest path. And that is, I think, is the way that will lead you to liberation. I think that is the way that is the practice that which will make you Bodhisattva and eventually Buddha. I usually, when I introduce teaching on 6 paramita, the 6 perfection, the practice of generosity, practice of morality, practice of patience, practice of joyous effort, concentration, wisdom, everything can take as a tool to serve your mother, father, your children, your responsibility. If you take these 6 paramita as a main tool to help your family, every single your job in the family responsibility become Bodhisattva's deeds. So therefore, it depends on the attitude what people carry. I won't define based on what kind of image that you carry, whether as a monk, whether as a sadhu, whether as a meditator in the cave. Even you live in the cave, but your heart filled with delusion, then there's no meaning. But you are busiest businessman and busiest family man, but if you carry the attitude of Dharma, then you are the retreater. You are the practitioner. You are the really, you can eventually you can become a sangha without wearing a robe. Sangha means someone who realize emptiness, who don't have any kind of grasping attachment, who realize selflessness, and that person is the sangha, real sangha. You see, and we all equally have that opportunity. Doesn't matter whether you get chance to wear monk robe or not. But then, of course, wearing monk robe, I mean, having the sangha vows has a lot of privilege, more time, but you need to know how to utilize those extra time for your practice. But if you don't know that, then it's also no meaning.
Yes.
So something like that.
Yes. Thank you, Geshe-la. Geshe-la, so yes, so theoretically it makes sense, but if my world is surrounded by a 12-hour job, is surrounded by by taking care of my children, by taking care of my survival, by taking care of so much stuff around me, by so much responsibilities, I won't have much time to practice meditation, to study, to actually contemplate on these deep truths of life. And if everyone around me is drinking, smoking, partying, shopping, or whatever, the task becomes much more difficult. Especially, let's say I have to achieve shamatha first, which requires so much hard work and so much effort and enthusiasm in the beginning. And then, applying vipassana insight as well with it, and then going forward. So I guess the question is that for a layman, for a city dweller, to practice this path, to actually go make progress on this path and gain insight into emptiness, feels a little harder. What I mean, do you think is that right or wrong? Or if it's right, what could the city dwellers do? Should they just focus on being kinder to each other, help out each other because the world has many problems, forget meditation and study for now?
I think it has both aspects. The right aspect, also the limitation aspect. Of course, if you have the circumstances like many the sanghas and practitioners' life, who genuinely, wholeheartedly dedicate their their time to really to actualize the path. Then, in that urgency, in that kind of knowing, then those privileged times are very important. Yes, to actualize shamatha, vipassana, any realization on the path, that you need a substantial time to get to learn correctly. You also need substantial time to have to gain the wisdom of conviction through through thoroughly analytical observation, and also to gain the wisdom of realization on the path, that you really need dedicated time to meditate. But the thing is that if in the reality world, that you really, there's no way that you can spare such time, then it's not necessary to spare such time. You can still practice the Dharma, and you can still be successful in your path. So learning, as long as you have the correct intention to learn the Dharma, you can learn certain basic scriptural knowledge without taking too much time, like how the Geshes do study. But there are shorter kind of course that which doesn't take much time, but then all the points are there, like Lamrim, like some of the mind training treatise and the Lamrim teaching, and the Lamrim also, if you cannot study the great Lamrim, you can study short Lamrim, which is about 2 pages, and within maybe few classes that you can learn well. Then taking those knowledge through the observations of your real life responsibilities, because all the Dharma knowledge and Dharma practices are tool to overcome or transform challenges what we face in our conventional reality. In ultimately is to really to transform samsaric turmoil into a pure land, samsara into nirvana, samsara into liberation, from samsara into liberation. So so therefore, with the correct learning, but not taking too much time, and using the platform of your busy life as a how to say, like a lab, for you to test the teach, in the form of analysis, whether this teaching, what it says in the Lamrim, really is effective or not in the real world, in your busy life. And then when we talk about meditation, meditation is nothing more than habitual training to your mind. So meditation doesn't define just, sitting quietly for many hours. Meditation is very much, with the correct object of meditation, which is the correct knowledge, which is the Dharma, let's say compassion, or let's say selflessness, let's say renunciation, whatever. Taking into account of repeated habitual, engagement in your mental system, and this meditation, if you can able to conjoin with your real life, meaning that whatever the circumstances, experiences that you experience, the wisdom that you gain through your learning and analytical on the Dharma, taking as an antidote to overcome the samsaric challenges and repeatedly trying it until you get succeed. It is the meditation. It is the meditation, So, of course, the discipline, physical discipline, do help, and the surrounding environment of quietness do help in certain meditational practice. But ultimately, when it comes to getting realization on the path through meditation, as long as you're able to train your mind in a repeated habitual training of the Dharma wisdom to the real life, you can able to achieve all the realizations on love, on compassion, on selflessness, everything. You see, and usually the meditators and also great learners, eventually to the final test, the final real test of their practice, come into the real life, the real world. You see, so I think it's how you design, your package of practice, and you can, since you don't have the privilege of a lot of free time, then why not that you carry learning, contemplation, meditation into your busy life. Sometimes I drive, and sometimes my meditation is working much more better while I'm driving than sitting in the empty room, close all the window quietly. Sometimes it's very dangerous, but you can see how much concentration that you can able to achieve, and in a very multitasking responsibility to your mind when you start to train in some practice, like say focusing on the mantra recitation or praying to somebody. It becomes so intense. It's far more intense than doing meditation in a comfortable environment. Yes, and yeah. So sometimes it's amazingly effective, because it's like you are cornering, yourself. Because anything you corner there, then sometimes then you cannot manage. You see, so during the challenging time that you're able to take the Dharma as an account, as an antidote to tame your mind, which is a meditation. And because of the circumstances, the busy situation, put your whatever concentration that you provide for Dharma practice is very concentrated, very solid, and that concentrated mind that you give for any form of practice is actually is a meditational mind, not our gross mind. So the impact that we receive from there is very profound, and that is exactly like how we try to achieve through comfortable meditation time. So I think anybody can equally practice as long as you know how to practice. And usually, like when I teach some, if I get opportunity, if I remember, I say whatever I teach is like one style, but you have to interpret, you have to design that which is suits to your way of life, and try to take that into your meditation practice. So I don't know whether I answer your question or not, but
No,
something
yeah.
like that.
No, of course, of course. Geshe, we have just one or two more questions. Sorry for taking too
Sure.
much of your time.
You want me to on the light, or this is okay?
Up to you, Geshe. You look
I'm
beautiful
okay.
as always. Yeah, you
I'm
look
okay.
amazing. Yes, it's
Yeah.
okay. Geshe, so we've been talking about Dharma and the path a lot. And I guess the question is, Geshe, how do we explain, number one, what is Dharma and what is the path? What does it mean to be on the path? How do I know I am on the path? And second, how do I quantify my progress on the path? How do I know whether I'm going on the right direction or I'm going in the wrong direction? Because I have ups and downs throughout. Some days I'm amazing. Some days it's like, oh, there's so much anger in me. There's so many problems in me. So,
Sure.
and it just feels like, am I in the same place, or am I going backwards? I'm going progress. I never know these things.
Okay, so Dharma meaning protection of our mind. So Dharma literally actually meaning protection of our mind. So protection from what? Protection from negativities, delusions. So anything that helps to protect our mind arising or committing any negativities, arising negative action, negative attitudes, and that become Dharma. So when we talk about path, path is the walkway to liberation, walkway to liberation, free from delusion, free from samsara, free from karma, and that walkway is called the path. So in a spiritual term, then the mind of renunciation towards samsara, towards delusion, towards karma, towards negativities are called path. So, so dharma are the kind of like different engines, different tools that you can use to travel through the path. You see, so the dharma are the tool that which intensify and develop, the basis, the path, that the mind of renunciation, and that which develop into wisdom, higher wisdom, develop into higher attitudes like compassion, altruism and enlightened mind, etc. So now this dharma this path, you see, the pathway, how to progress your journey towards liberation. There are many ways. It's similar like the pathway to reach to the destination. Like there's a highway, then now it's smart tunnel, then the walkway, like that. So it's very much in a Buddhist teaching, the three principles, what you call the path of the three capable being. So so if you can afford to travel through the smart tunnel, then you will reach faster, but you have to pay more attention, pay extra money, isn't it? You need to drive faster, you need to have more concentration, you need to pay higher fee, higher risk, etc. Similar way, like the path of the Mahayana, and especially Mahayana Tantrayana, is like the smart tunnel. You see, but it's still the path. It's still based on the renunciation, and it still is the Dharma path. It's still for the protection of the mind, and for the progress. The tool to progress your mind. Then the Mayani Sutrayana is very much like the highway. Highway. You can travel without much of the traffic lights, but it's not as fast as the smart tunnel. But the highways are, in fact, it's a wider, bigger, and more lengthy than the smart way and the small alleys, isn't it? So the Mahayana Sutrayana is very vast. It started with altruism, and it's already a kind of vision for 3 countless eons of lifetimes to be trained, and need to accumulate 3 countless eons of merit, because the journey is so long, and the path is so wide. You can practice abundantly. You can also experience abundance of experiences on the way, all the Bodhisattva conducts, and like that. So then the part of the middle capable being is like slightly smaller road, but it still can drive. Then the part of small capable being is the small alley. You need to walk according with how fast you can walk. So something like that, you see. So the path is the walkway towards liberation. And why there are so many different paths is based on your capability, how much you can afford to invest your wisdom, your attitude, your time, your effort, etc. So now how to define that that your path is progressing is very much like there's a question asked to Buddha, what you have gained through meditation. He say, I don't know what I have gained, but I have lost a lot of things. I have loss of anger, I have loss of attachment, I have loss of all these negativities. So I think the way to define the development of the path is the decreasement, dismantling, and the lessening of the delusion, and the increasing of the wisdom, and increasing of the attitude, the strength of love, strength of compassion, strength of altruism. So this will define whether you are practicing Dharma or not, whether you are progressing in the path or not. So of course, when you practice the small capable beings path, the progress is smaller. When you practice the middle capable beings path, the progress is, yes, slightly effective. If you practice the higher capable beings path, the Sutrayana is more effective. Then if you practice Tantrayana, then super effective. So that's why even the Tantra, the meaning of the name, the Tantra, the mantra itself meaning protection from the wrong perception, or in other words, a protection of the mind. You can define protection of the mind, which Tantra defined as the Dharma, and specifically is a protection from the ordinary perception, protection from misperceptions or ordinary perceptions. And that is from the very first day of the practice already, we have to tease into this practice, which earlier practices will come much later. So you see, so from very beginning that you start to purify, dismantle, of the delusions, of the misperceptions, then of course the progress is going to be, the progress on the wisdom and the attitude going to be naturally faster. Okay, before you end, I will on the light. Just give me one moment.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Okay, yes.
Very nice. Suddenly it's so bright now.
Yes. Then what is that? What is the point that you ask in this? There are a few important points. What is Dharma? What is path?
How
What
do we?
define that you are progressing on the path? Is there any
Yeah.
other point?
No, that was it. That was it. That was it.
Yes. So basically, the job of the spiritual practitioner is protect our mind from negativities and delusions, and progress, our attitude and wisdom, according with those, the higher virtues, and as long as we pay attention to that, then naturally the path will progress, because that will naturally help to decreasement of the negativities and delusions, and naturally increasement of the virtues, either in wisdom or either in method. So like that.
Thank you, Geshe-la.
Thank you.
Geshe-la, I'm almost towards the end. So sorry, just towards the end.
No, don't worry.
Geshe-la, the reason we wanted to have this open heart conversation was because we thought that people don't have the time or the motivation or the reason to attend long courses, retreats, because they have commitments or whatever. So we thought, why not organize these talks and reach out to more people? So there might be people who would be watching a Dharma talk for the first time, and I wanted to ask a question for them. So let's say I am completely new to Dharma and this is the only talk that I will ever see. And I maybe won't have the fortune to see any other Dharma talk. And I've been impacted. Geshe-la, it seems like a stupid question, but if you could offer me some advices, 1, 2, 3, top 3 advices, top 3 learnings, top 5 learnings, whatever learnings of your life, whatever learnings that I should follow for the rest of my life, I should just note it down in a paper and follow it and remember it every day. What should be these top 3 learnings that I should remember?
Mm-hmm. Okay. First of all, I think the reality in Buddhist belief, Buddhist practice. In order to become Buddha, in order to be liberated, not necessarily have to carry the name tag of being Buddhist. So that already give a very spacious space to anyone. So that means anybody can practice Buddha Dharma. Everybody has potential to become Buddha. Everybody can achieve Buddhist path without even carrying the title of say I'm Buddhist. The reason for that is when we talk about Buddhist path consists with the two things. One is the attitude and one is the wisdom. So attitude is the attitude of non-violence. Then the view of interdependent coexistence. So, and the word is simple, but when you really practice these two key practice, it makes the world a different platform. The world within yourself, the world with your family members, world with the community, and world in the rest of the human and the rest of the sentient being. That the attitude of non-violence will make make your life more peaceful, others' life more peaceful. Attitude of non-violence, carry the flavor, carry the the element of love that which Buddha asks us to develop, carry the element of compassion that Buddha asks us to develop, carry the element of like forgiveness that Buddha asks us to develop, carry the element of respect that Buddha asks us to develop, carry the element of generosity that Buddha asks us to develop. All the good things that we aspire for innately, which is aspiring only for happiness. meaning aspiring only for virtue. You see, so when you have the attitude of observing non-violence, you are practicing Buddha Dharma perfectly. Then when you carry the view of the interdependent coexistence, you find that everyone's happiness is dependent on each other. And since I aspire for happiness, it's similar rest of the others too aspire for happiness. And in order to actualize the happiness is exist harmoniously among each other. So when we talk about harmoniously among each other, again, there's a great virtues. It is a great wisdom, you see. So firstly, we this wisdom of interdependent existence will help us to exist harmoniously within ourselves. Means our way of thinking should harmonize with right thinking. Right thinking like a respect. You should respect yourself. You should take care of yourself compassionately, lovingly, kindly, gently. So when you do that, no depression, no suicidal thoughts, no abuse, in any way to yourself. Now, when you realize that, you start to treat the same way to your loved one first, then to the rest of the others, including so-called as enemy, you start to treat the same thing. Eventually, you start to treat every single living being aspire the same thing, and my happiness depend on them, their happiness depend on me. So therefore, we all should coexist virtually in interdependent coexistence. You see, so this is, I think, very important to know. Then after that, try to deepen our understanding. So in a Buddhist teaching, the attitude will lead up to learning of the altruism, and all the way up to the altruism of omniscient Buddha's mind. As far as concerned with this view of intercoexistence, will lead up to the view of selflessness, view of emptiness, and a view of Buddha's wisdom body. So it's very profound. But can it start with this simple two attitude, two right attitude and the right view? So this is one thing. So therefore, then if you are interested Buddhist wisdom through scientific way, and Buddha's teaching also has the scientific elements. If you are interested only in the religious way, Buddha's teaching also have the religious aspect. If you are interested only in the way of life, Buddha's teaching also have the element of way of life. You see, and if you are not interested in any of that, but you're just interested in the philosophical kind of acquiring the Buddha's wisdom, the Buddha's teaching has the element of the philosophy. So therefore, Buddha's teaching suits to anybody, based on your interests. And the benefit we receive is something only beneficial, to ourselves, to our society, and to the world. So then, what is the question? Oh yeah. So this is one thing. Then, so what is the question?
No, Geshe, I was just asking, like, what are the top 3 things that you would want me to follow all my life? Like, if this is my only Dharma lesson, what is this?
I see. Yes. Okay. Okay. So this is one thing.
Okay, thank you.
This is very important. What I just said. The another thing is, like His Holiness Dalai Lama all the time emphasize, be a compassionate person. Be a compassionate person. So when we talk about compassion, again, compassion to yourself, compassion to rest of the humanity, rest of the creatures, and even compassion to rest of the nature. You see, Buddha's teaching emphasize deeply and strongly offering, I would say, expressing respect to everything. Respect to even to the suffering, respect to even to the harm givers. When we start to offer respect to everything, every experiences, we get the benefit of learning from them. We get a benefit of wisdom from them. We get the benefit of developing our own wise attitude. You see, so being a good person, being a kind person. So that's one thing. The second thing is, life is so impermanent. Even conventionally, our human life is very short. The days and the year passes so fast. Shocking. You see, and the human era of this time, the human life, even how lengthy you live, also maybe not more than 150 or whatever. Mostly within 100. So and most of us, I think, who encounter this kind of conversation is I think already somewhere in the mid-age. So therefore there's no point, there's no benefit at all wasting our time with anger, ego-centered kind of attitude. There's no point at all. Rather, try to be humble, kind, and beneficial in any way to anyone comes in our way. At least with just a gesture of kind word, which does not cost anything. Just gesture of nice smile. It doesn't cost anything. Rather it brings benefit to you. It's amazing when you genuinely offer a smile to others. The first person that affected is yourself. The energy is so powerful. Check it out. You see, sometimes we stay in a so tense and gloomy. It's too much. Becomes so narrow, becomes so tense. Just even people sometimes feel strange because now world is somehow become created by ourselves, so tense, so cold. Even people misunderstand that you're just being nice to other. Be it. Don't worry. Even people scold at you, but somewhere, somehow, you will benefit others. You see. So if one person start with yourself. If you want to have a world that where everywhere you go, people smile, people say hello, people start to talk nicely. Like India. In India, the moment you reach in India and Nepal, I feel like so relaxed. The roads and the traffic are a bit messy, but then you feel so free. It's easy to smile. It's like free to smile. Free to talk. Free to just ask. And sometime in this sometime in the Western world, it's a bit too systematic. It's like a bit too tense. I find like that. Not all in the Western world, but in some part of the world that I visited, even scared to smile. Even scared to say hello. Even scared to go and help. But I think in Nepal, in India, like people will naturally appreciate when you give your hand, and also people like feel so easy to and be helpful, and that is good culture. That is good culture. I think in the world, everywhere, I think we have to
revive this culture of being easy, being honest, being kind, being gentle, being friendly. I think this is very important. I think if we are, um, if we lost this basic human kind of charisma, then I think even to infuse high wisdom, high dharma, I think it's very hard, very hard. So I believe this is one of important thing. Then another thing is that always anything we do, I think good to, of course, there may be the different different kind of right thinkings, but carry a good motivation, just simply dedicating to be beneficial in a concern of the well-being of every single living being, including the ants and cockroach and even people who disturb you. And this mind is so powerful that it becomes your protection. Even there's someone is going to harm you, somehow that helps protect you. You see, so uh, I want to say that be generous of being altruism, and altruism in your attitude. Basically, it doesn't cost anything, and it has a huge benefits. So I would say that sometime when you talk to people, be compassionate. You say, how possible to be compassionate? And sometimes we talk, say that carry the altruistic attitude of wanting to dedicate your life for the benefit of numberless sentient beings. How possible? And how can you think like that? It's not possible to think like that. But in actual fact, you try it out. This will amaze you that you have such a profound potential, that your heart is so big, so huge, that even you can't imagine that you become like a wish fulfilling gem, to everyone, at least, with the good energy of you. So whoever see you, whoever talk to you, whoever come near to you, they can able to receive your good energy. But in order to do that, you have to create your being in good energy. So I think that way, I think we can spend our life meaningfully, whether you are working environment, whether you are hanging around in the shopping mall, whether you are not doing anything, and whether you are just swimming in the beach. Because of this good energy, you are constantly benefiting so many others. So I would say something like that. And this is, in fact, is the attitude of Shantideva. Shantideva's teach us that you be like a wish fulfilling jewel to others. Then Shantideva's way of dedicating our life is, as long as sentient being remain, may I too remain to dispel the suffering of sentient being. Starting from yourself, your family, and rest of the humanity, and rest of the sentient being. So if we are able to live like that, how meaningful our life is. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Geshe-la, thank you. It's been an amazing hour, maybe a little more than that, actually. Thank you so much. You've actually done kind of a dedication as well, but so we normally end with a dedication prayer.
Yeah, we can do a short dedication.
Yes, that would be very nice. Thank you, Geshe-la.
Yeah. So may whatever merit that two of us collectively accumulated, and the merit that accumulate collectively with anyone that who is watching this, and also the merit individually collected from the past, present, future, and the merit that accumulated, the virtues and merit accumulated by past, present, future Buddhas, Bodhisattvas, and gurus, and all the good people in this world, be the complete cause for rest of the numberless sentient beings to free from oceans of samsaric suffering, and it is causes the delusion and karma, and actualize from the temporary happiness up to the ultimate happiness of enlightenment. May this collective merit be a complete cause for this pandemic in this world to overcome as soon as possible. May the cure, the vaccine be most effective and swiftly actualized within every single humanity. And may this human community get into the normality that which with a great transformation, the way how we think, the way how we behave among each other, the way how we behave towards the nature. Everyone, equipped with sense of responsibility, sense of compassion, sense of oneness, and everyone can able to, collectively put effort to make this world a better place with more peace and happiness and harmony. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the world leaders and the leaders of the organizations and leaders of the family and yourself who lead your life to be free from the domination by delusions like anger, attachment, ego-centered mind, etc., and equipped with the attitude of loving kindness, compassion, and the wisdom of interdependent coexistence. So that way, anyone who live under your guidance, your leadership, can able to enjoy peace and happiness and harmony. May this collective merit be a complete cause for all the good people in this world, like His Holiness the Dalai Lama, Kyabje Lama Sopa Rinpoche, and all the spiritual gurus, and all the people who are the cause of the world peace, and yourself and your rest of the family members always enjoy perfect health, long life, and fulfill all your virtuous aspiration accordingly. May this collective merit be a complete cause. All the virtuous institutions like these great monasteries and all the other institutions, like including Choe Khor Sum Ling Center in Bangalore, overcome all the inner outer secret obstacles and actualize all the conducive conditions to preserve the Dharma perfectly in extensive learning and genuine sustainable practice. And the center and the people who come to the center be most beneficial for the peace and happiness of the community and larger to the world and all sentient beings. In short, may this collective merit be a complete cause. May each and every one of us able to cultivate the attitude of non-violence and the view of interdependent coexistence. And may we be the cause of peace and happiness of the world. Thank you. Thank you very much.